and welcome back to the review realm. It's Sienna, and today we're going to be talking about Reacher Season 3, Episode 1. This is a review that will contain spoilers, but before we get to it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So let's get to it. Reacher Season 3, Episode 1 starts off, and you see Reacher in Maine, and he is selling his old records at an old record store to help get some extra money. He is looking out the window while the guy's assessing his records, and he noticed that something's very suspicious, and then he sees a college kid who is about to get kidnapped, and the college kid does have security with him, but the security ends up getting in an accident which is caused by the kidnapper to try and kidnap the kid. And Reacher does what he does, and he tries and stops the kidnapping. He ends up getting the kid away to safety, but as he's doing that, he ends up shooting and killing a cop. So now Reacher is on the run with this college kid. He ends up taking this college kid to behind like a little warehouse, and he is trying to switch cars, so he hijacks a car and he's like, "Kid, you go home, you do your thing, call an Uber or something." And the kid's like, "No, you should come with me. My dad is very rich, he can help you out. You saved my life. I was about to get kidnapped for the second time." And you're like, "What do you mean the second time?" Well, it turns out this kid has been kidnapped before, and his ear was actually cut off and sent to his dad, so he is missing one of his ears. And Reacher is reluctant, but then the kid eventually convinces him to go to his dad's place, and you learn that his dad is a rug merchant, or at least that's what they say he is, and his company is Bizarre Bazaar. They end up going to the kid's house, and it is full of security. There's security cameras, you got a huge guy who's protecting, and everyone is a little hesitant of Reacher, and Reacher ends up meeting with the dad. The dad is sort of almost interviewing him, like, "Thanks for saving my son. We need to do a little background check on you, Reacher," because Reacher wants to lie low because he just killed a cop, and he's wondering if he can stay at this guy's house just for a little until the news dies down that Reacher did kill a cop. They take his prints, then they have a little interview with Reacher to see if he can stay, and the interview involves Russian roulette that Reacher does the first time, but to show that he has some cojones, he does it 3 more times if I counted right. I believe he did it a total of 4 times, but I'm definitely in the ballpark. I was like trying to count, but anyway, I believe it was 4 times. And then they ask Reacher, "Why did you do it so many times?" The head of security does, and Reacher says, "Well, I knew it was a blank in the gun." And the head of security ends up shooting the gun, and it was actually a real bullet, but the bullet ends up piercing. It looks like an oil can of some sort or something that has like a liquid, and it drips onto the floor, and then it starts leaving imprints of the floor panel, so you know that there is a room or something under where the water or what the liquid is pouring into. So then Reacher thinks that there is a bunker underneath this. Reacher then ends up getting locked into his room until the morning because they don't necessarily trust him fully yet. And then Reacher pulls out a satellite phone from his boot, and this is where we get sort of a flashback scene of what really happened. So it turns out that Reacher is actually working with the DEA office, and they are trying to put this really bad guy who is doing drugs, who works for Bizarre Bazaar, behind bars. And Reacher knows this man from the military and his past experience, and he also wants to put this guy behind bars, so they decide to team up. But the DEA's office also had a person undercover named Teresa. She's 20 years old, and she has gone dark. They don't know where she is. She hasn't contacted them. So Reacher is also on a side plot to try and save her. So Reacher at 3 in the morning decides to go down into the bunker that he thinks that's in the shed where the Russian roulette happened, where he thinks Teresa could be. And he goes down and he finds the bunker empty. But he does find an earring, which is Teresa's earring that she is known for wearing, so he knows that she is somewhere in this general area, and that is how episode 1 ends. Now, I loved the flashback scenes. Flashback scenes are one of my favorite things that a TV show can do because it allows the audience to be in the dark, like you know something important is happening, you just don't know why, and flashback scenes help fill in the why for the audience members, and it also creates this somewhat of a twist, and I just thought it was done very well in this first episode. Arrow is another show that the first 4 seasons that they really do well, like flashback scenes, so I definitely enjoyed it within this show in the first episode. I had a fun time. I just rewatched season 2 of Reacher, and while it wasn't the greatest season, it was set in New York, Boston, you have Washington, D.C., and all these bigger cities. And I think it did take a little bit away from the character Reacher. I know the setting, that is a weird spot, but being in Maine, the small town, Reacher at a diner, you're like, you get flashbacks to season 1 and it makes it feel homey and just a great and wonderful experience. So I did like this setting better than I did like season 2. And also the action, you can really feel like right off the jump, Reacher was doing his Reacher stuff, fighting people, shooting people. It was just a really fun time. So I really did enjoy the first episode, and I'm excited. This season has potential to be good. Obviously, this is just the first episode, but it was giving me everything I needed from a Reacher season 3 episode 1. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comment section down below, and have a great day. Bye!